Today we're going to be learning how to use the equation A equals PERT and how to use it on your graphing calculator.
Using A equals PERT with a graphing calculator. Let's look at some learning goals for this lesson. Using compound interest formulas, understanding what E is. Also understanding how to use A equals PERT in a graphing calculator. Some vocabulary and formulas. Compounding interest, which is A equals PERT, and the amount is equal to A. P is, of course, our principal. E, well, E is 2.71, and we will get to that later. R stands for our rate, and T, of course, stands for our time. Now you try a problem. Plug the correct values into the equation. A total of $9,000 is invested at a rate of 2.5%, compounded annually. Find the balance after 5 years. Use the equation A equals PERT. What's the amount? Well, we are trying to find the amount. Now the principal, anyone know what the principal is? It is $9,000. The rate? Well, the rate is 2.5%. And time is our last factor, so find the time. The time is 5 years. So now let's plug all this information into the equation. So this is what our equation should look like after we are done plugging in all of the values. So go ahead and take a look at that. You may be asking, why is the rate 0.025 instead of 2.5? Well, you have to do this because 2.5 is a percent, so what happens is you need to divide it by 100 so that we end up with 0.025. And this is just all because of the percent sign. So this is what our equation should look like, and let's go ahead and bring out our graphing calculator so we can understand how to solve this equation.
This is the equation if you needed to be reminded. So what happens with that is just use your graphing calculator. Let's just pull it out. This is mine. I have a TI-84. You can use the TI-83 as well for this video because it's about the same, just this one's newer. So we're solving for our amount. So all we have to do is just put in all the rest of the equation and we can just go ahead and solve. So we can go ahead and put in our 9,000 because that's our principal and that goes first. So it's going to go ahead and look like that. Now we have E. So E comes next, and what's going to happen with that is we can just go ahead and push the second button. So it's this blue button right here, and it will bring up this little arrow. Then we're going to go ahead and push this LN button, and if you see there is an E to the X right above it, so that will bring up our E, and it will have an exponent little area for it above that. So then we can just go ahead, and I like to use parentheses as probably the safest way to do things when you're multiplying an exponent. So go ahead and open up your parentheses and go ahead and put in your 0.025. So it should look like that. Then go ahead and close up your parentheses with that button. And then do the same thing with the time. Reopen your parenthesis again and 5 and make sure you close it. So it should look like this when you're finished. Go ahead and press your enter button to solve, and you should end up with 10,198.33608. Super easy, right? When you're solving for the amount, it's no big deal. Just make sure you enter it in on your calculator correctly. There is one more way to get the E button on your graphing calculator, which I will teach you. So you're going to press the second button again, which is right here, and it will bring up that arrow. See that flashing arrow? Okay. So there's another E, which is right above your division button. See the E right there in the blue? Well, you can press that and it will give you an E right there. That's another way you can do it. I just like when you have exponents to use the E to the X because it's already brings up your exponent bar. So let's get back to the video and I will show you more.
Okay, so let's do another because math is just so much fun. Sacramento is infested with zombie hamsters. There are currently 7,000 of them roaming around. If there were originally 70 zombie hamsters that compounded continuously at a rate of 3.7 per hour, how many days would it take to reach 7,000? So 7,000 is our amount, 70 is our principal, and 3.7% is our rate. So what's our time? Well, we are trying to find the time. You may be asking, how do we even solve for time? Well, we have to graph it. So this part of our equation will be y sub 1. And the other half of our equation, the amount, will be the y sub 2 part.
So what we need to do, as I said earlier in the video, that we're going to need to go ahead and graph the equation. So go ahead and pull out your graphing calculator, and we'll get started. So we're going to need to graph it. So you're going to go ahead and push this y equals button right here at the very top row. Go ahead and press that. Now we'll bring up this little screen right here. So see how we have a y sub 1 and a y sub 2? We're going to go ahead and just input this information from the equation right in there. So our y sub 1, we want 70 e. So remember it's second, this blue button, and that ln button with e to the x on top of it. So we're going to push that, and then we're going to have that right there. We're going to open parenthesis, and we're going to put 0.037 in, close parenthesis. Now we're going to open up our next parenthesis. Even though we're solving for a variable, we still need to input that. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this button right here that says x. So see, it's xt theta n. So let's go ahead and press that button, and it will bring up our x. So that will be in place of the variable of time. So go ahead and close your parentheses. Then to get down to our y sub 2 bar, we're going to need to push this down arrow. So go ahead and press that, and see our little blinky dude will be right there. And then we're just going to input 7,000. So go ahead and press the graph button, which is right here, right there. So go ahead and press that. And you're going to see that you're not really seeing anything on your graph. And that is because you are on a standard window, which is a 10 by 10 grid. Well, 10, 10, 10, 10. So it's not a big enough window for you to be able to see anything. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to press this button right here. It's called window, right next to your y equals button. Go ahead and press that button, and you will see a screen that looks like this. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to input some information. So our x min, let's just go ahead and put it at negative 1,000. I think that will give us a pretty good view. And our x max, let's go ahead and put that at 1,000. And this next bar, this XSCL or C1, I think it's a 1, I'm not really sure, or an I, but let's just go ahead and put 100 in there so we can still see 10 just tick marks because it's a little easier that way. So for our Y min, we don't really have anything in the negative area, so let's just go ahead and put 0. And for our Y max, let's go ahead and put 10,000 because we already know that we're going to have to reach 7,000, so let's just give ourselves a good viewing area. And then our YCL should be at 1,000, so we can go ahead and see nice 10 clear tick marks. So it should look like this. And then go ahead and press that graph button, which is right here again. Go ahead and press that, and you're going to see a nice graph popping up. Look at that. So that is going to look much more clear. There we go. So now we can see both lines clearly. Well, we want to find a point of intersection. So the way we're going to do that, and it's real easy, is we're going to go ahead and press this blue button again, the second one, and then see this button right here that says trace, and the calc is right above it. We're going to go ahead and press that button. You're going to see your options pop up. Option number 5 is called intersect, and we want the point of intersection. So we're going to go ahead and press that 5th option. Now, it's going to ask you for your first curve. So you need to be to the left of the point of intersection, and then so just move it over to wherever you like. I like it right about there, the little blinky dude at the very bottom. Then go ahead and press your enter, and then it will keep a little dude there, and then it's going to bring up another one for your second curve. So make sure the second little blinky dude is to the right of the point of intersection. So right about there. Press enter. It will ask you, do you want me to guess? See that? And you just hit enter again. Yeah, I want you to guess. And look, it gives us our point of intersection right there at the bottom. Intersection 124.46 and then 7,000. So now that we have that information, I'll let you get back to the video so you can understand how to calculate it.
Our point of intersection is at 124.46 and 7,000. We really only want the x value because our x value represents the total number of hours. But the question is asking how many days it took. But this value is in hours, so all we have to do is divide the value by 24 hours. This will show us how many days there are in that amount of time. So let's go ahead and do that. We will see that this equals 5.2 days. So the answer to our question is it took 5.2 days for the zombie population to reach 7,000. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.